Welcome back to yet again another Chastise experience, man. We got some breaking news. As of today, uh, ancient Greeks built a computer, quote unquote computer, 2,000 years ago, and it predicted eclipses. Now, the term computer is in quotations because this Antikythera mechanism uses gears and dials and tracks movements of the sun, moon, and planets. So it's the equivalent of a an operating mechanism or machine um, that seemingly could function on its own, similar to a computer. Started up, it's got different mechanisms that you know I wouldn't really compare it to a computer. That's kind of the my initial take on this. But we're gonna read this and we're gonna get right into it. I do understand what they're saying, but I do believe that with computers, most computers are not self-reliant in that instance. They do rely upon power. But maybe when they say computer and they're thinking of sunlight and things that are moving out, maybe that's power that aligns. Who knows? Let's get into it though. A device discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece turned out to be something no one expected. It was a 2,000-year-old machine that could predict eclipses, known as the Antikythera mechanism. The device was found in 1901 among the remains of an ancient Greek ship that sank around 1 century BC. At first, it looked like a collection of corroded bronze fragments. It took decades before researchers understood what it actually was. Inside those fragments was a system of intricate gears. When scientists studied it more closely using modern imaging techniques, they found more than 30 bronze gears working together. Inside the device, a series of several bronze gears were linked to dials and pointers that tracked how the sun, moon, and possibly even planets moved across the sky. As the gears turned, the mechanism could recreate these cycles and even predict solar and lunar eclipses while surprising accuracy. It followed known patterns like Sorrow cycle, which is still used to work when eclipses will happen. What really stands out is how advanced all of this was. Nothing else with this kind of mechanical complexity shows up again for over 1,000 years. Systems with similar gearwork only start appearing much later, excuse me, in medieval Europe. It was most likely used by Greek astronomers or scholars, either to study the sky, track time, and even explain these movements to others. The whole system worked by turning a simple hand crank, which set the gears in motion and updated the position on the dials. Some parts of the mechanism also had inscriptions on them, which helped researchers figure out how it was meant to be used. Even now, scientists are still trying to fully understand it. The Antikythera mechanism is often described as the world's first analog computer because it could take input, process it through the system of gears, and produce a calculated output. For something built more than 2,000 years ago, it shows a level of engineering that feels way ahead of its time. And it all came from what first looked like a pile of broken metal at the bottom of the sea. What an amazing find. Wow. Cool. So now we understand the logic behind making the comparison to that of a computer. And that simple correlation was the fact that it can take input, process it out, and calculate an output. Interesting. But it is more astonishing to think of the technologies that have been lost. We reverse engineer so much, and we understand it in hindsight. But for them to have the foreshadowing and the foresight to be able to put these things together is actually more impressive. For us to understand conductivity, for us to understand, yeah, the periodic table. Like there's just so many things that we have done, even within our own time span, that's still just mind boggling. You know, less than 300 years ago, I don't even think we were driving cars like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to see what it is that we are doing with our technologies. But shout out to the Greek, and shout out to, you know, the Antikythera, the Antikythera. I think I might have said that wrong a couple times, but it's okay. We live and we learn. But this is really cool. If you guys like this type of stuff, please let me know. If you're into, if you're into tech, AI, and future news, yeah, slap the like. Let me know. I'll get right back to it. I'll catch y'all on the next one.